Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of Uchu Sentai Kyuranger episode 25. So this was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It mainly revolved around them getting that Kyutama that's going to allow them to travel back in time. And we got a little bit of everybody. It was kind of primarily a Kotaro focused episode, but yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. I actually thought this arc to get this Kyutama, even though like we already have it in toy form, so they kind of needed to hurry, I guess. But I thought this arc was actually going to last a couple more episodes to get this thing. I thought it was going to be more of an ordeal after the Argo thing, although granted they had to get multiples for that. But anyway, I didn't expect it to be one and done. I mean, I guess them actually using it's going to be a whole other storyline, but you get what I mean. But so, basically I thought it was a really cool setup of going to this planet, and kind of convenient, but also kind of neat of like, since it's time travel, and like there's 12 different things like a clock, and there's 12 rangers, it was kind of the perfect, if not a bit contrived, but like it worked perfect, like just way of doing the classic episode where, like after you have a new 6th ranger established, or in this case 12th ranger, which kind of works perfectly, it's literally double. Anyway, you know, they have the episode where they're all established and let's pose and explosions and all that. So it was kind of that episode as well, so it was kind of perfect for that. But I liked that setup of them each having a place to go. And so like at each station, each ranger had to turn off a certain, or turn on one of the dials. And it was like, it manifested an illusion based on one of their personal stories. And like some of them were more memorable than others based on how memorable the episode was. Like, I thought it was funny that Garu got like his dress-up version. Like that just kind of shows how little focus he's gotten outside of like propping Lucky. And Naga didn't have anything, which is kind of funny because it's like a dual thing where unless I'm forgetting an episode, he really hasn't gotten a solid focus since his debut that I remember. Because like my whole bit since I've been doing these reviews and watching it is like, what is Naga? Like, I'm not sure what they're doing with him. It's entertaining, but I'm not sure what they're doing with him. But so I kind of like how they worked in the fact that he hasn't gotten a lot to him into the plot, sort of laying the groundwork for next week's with like the evil Naga stuff we saw in the scans. And I don't know how long that'll last, but I thought that was neat. But I just like the device of sort of, these were memorable either villains or characters they faced. Like for Commander, it was Big Bear, and for, you know, Orange, it was his brother, and then for the main focal point was Kotaro, it was his mother. And I was a bit of an emotional mix for me in terms of, I was at first really annoyed with him of, like, I get it, he's a kid, it's his mother who he lost, but that he was like refusing to turn it off. Not in general, like I get the concept of, I'll get a few more minutes with this version of my mother before I turn it off, but like when his friends were actively being attacked, trying to help him so that he could turn it off, like it just bothered me that she was not real, you know. It's even more, I guess, accentuated for a kid. So I'm like arguing with myself basically. Like the emotions are much more real for a kid. Not real, but like you're much more raw in that age with that type of thing. So it's like I totally understand it, but it did annoy me for a minute because she's obviously not real. Your real friends are in real danger. But luckily he turned it around quick. He stormed off for a minute, but then he had a talk with Sergei and Sergei, I always feel weird saying that, and he instantly, like after that, like knew, like, you know what, I gotta do this, I gotta free people from dark matter. It was actually a kind of a nice little speech from him because he was like, you know, if dark matter hadn't ruled, she could have gone to the hospital and been fine, so we're gonna liberate. So it was just a brief moment of annoyance, and it was, again, it kind of reminded me of like Ninja Steel this week, where I was less annoyed at that episode specifically doing it, and more it was a blanket issue I've seen in Toku shows, or even with this case other shows, where it's a character prioritizing something that shouldn't be as important to them as something else, if that makes any sense. But I was impressed with the way he turned it around, and I do like Kotaro, and he could easily be an annoying character, but it's actually funny. I find him to be more mature than most of our Reds recently. But so that was kind of nice. Even though I was annoyed for a minute, they did turn it around, and then we got the traditional, like, oh, let's all pose, an explosion, and we got a neat fight. And one of the like new general guys that has been, I forget what their name is. It's like the new general group that's been hired by Dawn, or brought out by Dawn to attack them, is gone. And after last week, all my going on about how all 12 of them didn't pilot Kyutama Jin, all 12 of them piloted it. I should have figured. And like I said last week, I assumed they wouldn't always all do it, but I'm glad we got it. And it almost makes me wish we would have saved it for this week. Actually, not almost, it does. Like, they could have easily done last week's Let's Work Together episode without debuting that. I get it, there's like the toy timeline, but this would have been the perfect episode because it was about the whole team together. So that bothered me a little bit, but I'm glad we got to see all 12 piloting it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, next week is the Evil Naga stuff. I'm hoping that lasts more than a couple episodes, or more than just an episode. At least 2 would be good. I don't know if there's been any more information outside of just the pictures and the scans and stuff that would let us know if there's going to be more, but I think it's an interesting point, especially since they haven't done a whole lot with Naga other than just him being weird. So I hope that that is good. And again, I'm still enjoying Kyuranger. I really enjoyed this episode. It was a really solid, enjoyable episode with some good action and some good little character beats. I'd probably give it an 8. But anyway, that's about it for this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Dawson Ryder, signing out.